going on, everybody? We're back with some more Marvel Snap. Today we're going to be playing kind of like a mix of like a tempo and tech cards deck. I think I saw Teddy Ninja playing something similar, but that was from somebody else, and I don't remember who that deck was from. So kind of some of the idea behind this deck is not mine. I tweaked out some stuff though. So kind of the main tech package and again, the Cosmo, Monger, Polaris, Arrow, Shang-Chi type thing was from the other deck. Obviously that's in tons of decks. It's just kind of like a tech card package. We added in the Nightcrawler, Daredevil, Scorpion, Goblin, and Black Bolt. Black Bolt I want in there just... There's still some decks out there that are playing cheap win conditions. Black Bolt can sometimes snipe them. Less good right now. You could probably swap this out for any number of cards, like a rescue or any number of things. There's so many options you have there. But I like playing Black Bolt, even if it makes the deck a little bit weaker, so I am doing so. It's also just a pretty solid stats deck. Arrow's the real kind of shining star of the deck. Arrow can just win games on its own. Other than that, we're doing things like Scorpion to make their cards weaker, Goblin to disrupt some of their locations. Polaris is really, really good against Galactus decks and just trying to force one of their locations to be weak. Like, kind of in a perfect world, you'd do like Green Goblin, then you Polaris a 1-drop over to the Green Goblin, make sure that that lane stays very weak, and then you can kind of play Maximus to lock that lane up, and then you Arrow to on turn 6 sometimes to just make sure you win the game. There's a lot of variety in your decisions here just because you're trying to counter what your opponent's doing. So you got to try and stay one step ahead of them. But it's a really fun list, and I really like these kind of tempo-driven lists that kind of just want to play points every turn, kind of play out on curve. The only thing is that doesn't really compete with a lot of the combo decks, so you need to pack all of these tech cards to really compete. The other cool thing about this list is it's a relatively cheap list. If you've played basically through Pool 3, you can basically just run this deck as is, swap out some cards as you need to. Like I said, like Black Bolt could easily get replaced, Nightcrawler could easily get replaced. There's a lot of replacements you can make depending on what you want to play. And the Killmonger Nightcrawler thing may look a little bit weird, but it's the kind of thing where Nightcrawler you want to have just in case for playing around certain locations. And sometimes you just don't Killmonger, but other times if they have like a really big sunspot or you're playing like a swarm deck, Killmongering your own Nightcrawler can be worth it for the net gain. But yeah, that's it. Let's hop on into some games. All right, we've got game 1 against Seb, who is a bit smelly, but otherwise fine. We don't have any turn 1 play, but we only have one cost card in the deck. I think I kind of want to get Daredevil out, but at the same time, I kind of just want points out. Fisk Tower will be potentially really good with our Arrow and or Polaris. There is Polaris. Okay. The only thing is, I don't necessarily want them playing stuff on this right now. Because like our options are either Polaris over here and try and move the Bucky away from a Carnage or something like that. Which is probably a fine play. Probably gonna be like Hood and Carnage. No, Iceman. And Deathlock. Okay. Arrow turn 6 on Fisk Tower is going to be incredible. So let's play a little bit into Dark Dimension now. So this definitely looks like Death Wave. So, like, if I do that and that, how do we lose? Or even if I do that and that. I assume wave is coming out. It's a matter of where does wave come out, first of all. And I could see it being there. Okay. I think it is always arrow middle here. I think we'll add just a bit more power into the Tinkerer's Workshop lane. And we'll just count on that winning us the game. Death can come out because it is 6 cost. I killed 3 cards. We'll see how that goes, though. Even if Arrow didn't destroy these cards, like, making sure you pull everything into this location is still really good. And that's a 3-lane win right there. Not bad at all. Can't complain about that. Let's hop on into the next game. Alright, we've got our next match against Match Thrower. Do they intentionally throw matches? Is that their strategy? Squirrel Girl is scary, especially because you don't necessarily always want to Killmonger the Squirrel Girl early because of Alright, they're carnaging now, which is good. It makes me feel a little bit better about playing Green Goblin next turn. Although those carnages are quite large. This isn't great because we're shuffling stuff into they're shuffling their hand into their deck next turn. But we'll see. Things aren't looking fantastic for us. Whatever they play this turn is going to be weakened by 2 unless they play their top deck, which is a possibility. They're just going to play Wave. I think this is an incredible Black Bolt turn. They probably can only play 1 card at best. It may be Death, which we just have to hope we pull Shang-Chi at some point. But other than that, basically the rest of their hand is getting discarded. And since their hand is waived, Black Bolt looks at everything equally because everything will be a 4-cost card. We hit Monger and Yondu, which isn't great. They've got She-Hulk. We got Shang, so we are pretty happy on that front. I think we probably just Maximus here into Shang next turn. I want to play Lizard out, but like, just in case this lane gets filled. Alright, we're still mostly fine. Yeah, so like this plus this is probably super fine. This might even be a snap turn, but we're gonna play it out. Sean can go right, make us real happy. It's another 3-laner right there. Power Shang-Chi. And we got to play Black Bolt out, and the stat stick did help. What he discarded did not help us at all. He hit pretty low cards. But if he could have hit like this arrow or something, that would have been incredible. But let's hop on into the next game. All right, we've got a match against Chaos here. Crimson Cosmos is a little tough for us because we have a pretty cheap deck.
This just in.
So we know they're a Mr. Negative deck. Question is, do they have the Zabu or Psylocke to pull this off? And we top deck the Cosmo. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that the Mr. Negative is going to be going to the left, which means I cannot block him with Cosmo. However, they play one card out. We can make them draw 2 more cards, which reduces the number of cards that they could Mr. Negative. So it's, do we play the Maximus to try and disrupt their negative, or do we play Cosmo and hope to just completely wreck it? But if they play on Cosmos, we can't stop it anyway. I'm gonna go for the Maximus. Did he play negative there? Oh, he can't play negative yet anyway. It's turn 3, but I don't know why I'm trying to think so hard about this. Okay, now the question becomes negative or not to negative, or Cosmo to not Cosmo. If I had another 2-drop, I'd probably go Daredevil plus a 2. I could just try and wreck this lane. Let's do that. Yeah, we knew negative was going there, so like I could never stop that. So they have Daredevil on us. I don't want to play Polaris, but I also don't want them to get my Polaris. But now I'm also going like all in on one lane. I think it's the right move though, because they can disrupt me quite a bit with the Polaris pulling out like Lizard from under me. They'll have one flipped card this turn, and then one flipped card next turn. You gotta imagine they're gonna play the flipped card this turn so that we don't get it, unless they flipped something useless like Zabu stays a 2/2. Other than that, you gotta imagine they're gonna show at least which one card they pulled. So it's gonna come down to a top deck on that front. Just playing one card here. Could be magic. Okay, that makes sense. So Black Bolt here could be incredible. If they're trying to hide their flipped card, like a flipped Wong. Okay. That's very good. I think if we go Cosmo, Monger, and Nightcrawler here, we'll add 8 power. It'll give us a slim 5-point lead. But if they're going for any on-reveal shenanigans, we'll block it. 5-point lead there is okay. We're going to wind up with a 15, 16-point lead here. I don't think we have good odds of beating 2 different 5-point leads unless it's all about the on-reveals and we block it with Cosmo. That's our only hope here. They have still 2 flipped cards. We discarded 1 flipped card, so they had their turn 5 and turn 7 draws, or turn 6 draws. It's going to come down to, can we block whatever this is? Oh, the Cosmo blocked the Mystique! Oh, that's beautiful. What a win. Little good boy right here. Shuts down the Mystique fully, meaning the second Blue Marvel buff can't go off, which would have won them these 2 lanes, and we stole the victory with that play right there. That was incredible. So yeah, that's kind of how the deck works. I know it's a quicker one today, but the deck is kind of, I don't want to say self-explanatory, but it's fairly straightforward. You really just want to keep priority by playing some early big cost cards or big power cards, and then you want to kind of just play your tech cards around what your opponent's doing, disrupt them with Polaris, disrupt them with Arrow, block them with Cosmo, and kind of the better you're making reads, the better the game's going to go. So yeah, it's a really fun deck, and I think there's a lot of flexibility to make it your own. There's a lot of flex spots that you can pop cards in and out of depending on what you feel like playing. But yeah, that's going to be it for now, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Please consider subscribing if you're new to the channel, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.